RNC Chairman Michael Steele may long to return to the circular firing squad with which he has so quickly become so accustomed. Since left to his own devices, he manages to self-inflict even greater damage. In our fourth story in the countdown, this time it's Steele on abortion rights. Mr. Steele notably used the words individual and choice in talking about abortion to GQ magazine in an interview conducted by Lisa DiPaolo 2 weeks ago but released late yesterday. Steele, the choice issue cuts two ways. You can choose life or you can choose abortion. You know, my mother chose life, so you know I think the power of the argument of choice boils down to stating a case for one or the other. Question. Are you saying you think women have the right to choose abortion? Steele, yeah, I mean, again, I think that's an individual choice. You do? Yeah, absolutely. And let the damage control begin. Mr. Steele released a statement today which reads in part, I tried to present why I am pro-life while recognizing that my mother had a, quote, choice before deciding to put me up for adoption. I thank her every day for supporting life. The strength of the pro-life movement lies in choosing life and sharing the wisdom of that choice with those who face difficult circumstances. And in the GQ interview, Steele did say that he thought Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided. But then this. Question. Okay, but if you overturn Roe v. Wade, how do women have the choice you just said they should have? Steele, the states should make that choice. That's what the choice is. The individual choice rests in the states. Let them decide. And no, he's not sticking to that either. The other part of Steele's mea culpa to the Republican Party today corrects that. I support our platform and its call for a human life amendment. That, of course, is the far more draconian view of the Republican Party, a constitutional amendment that would prohibit abortion nationwide. No state's choice. But when then Lieutenant Governor Steele, running for the Senate, appeared on Meet the Press October 29, 2006 with Tim Russert on the question of whether he would propose a constitutional amendment to outlaw abortion, Mr. Russert said, so you wouldn't do that? And Steele said, no. Let's turn now to the Pulitzer Prize-winning syndicated columnist of the Chicago Tribune, Clarence Page. Clarence, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Of course, the recriminations have begun. The former Governor Mike Huckabee derided the seemingly pro-choice comments from Mr. Steele. Ken Blackwell, who unsuccessfully ran against Steele for the RNC chair, said Steele should get to work or get out of the way. Is this about it, because this man spoke his mind and then sort of reversed field entirely? Is this about it for his chairmanship?
I don't think his chairmanship is over, Keith, even though it may look like it to us outsiders. He's in a rough patch, though, very rough patch. His big problems are, number one, he seems to have forgotten how conservative the party platform is. That's how he got jumbled up over the abortion question. You know, he was, back when he was lieutenant governor in Maryland, an overwhelmingly Democratic state. That kind of a moderate position, trying to finesse choice versus life, went over okay. It placated the masses, if you will, but there is that human life amendment clause in the platform, and he seems to have slipped up on that. But I think a bigger problem for him internally is he hasn't done anything yet constructively to build the party. Now, by that I mean he went in, he fired the staff. Maybe that needed to be done. There were a lot of complaints, but he hasn't rebuilt it, nor has he engaged in the strategic planning that they need right now to try to build themselves back from being the regional party they've been in the last couple of elections. So this next month, the kind of fundraising that he does could make a difference insofar as whether he stays in the job or not.
But isn't this a fundamental question that sort of transcends politics? That what he's really guilty of here is saying, as he literally was when he was asked if pro-choicers have a place in the party, he said absolutely. Is this just not? Isn't it? He is pro-choice to some degree, maybe to some limited degree, and he's being forced to deny what he believes to keep his job. Isn't that the sort of tenuous situation? The center can't hold on that forever, can it?
Well, I've talked to Michael Steele. He was my lieutenant governor as a Marylander. He's pro-life. He's a Catholic. He's very forthright in that as far as his personal beliefs go. He also, though, is in favor of your choice to vote Republican. He wants to build the party. And he knows that really draconian pro-life position that the platform has doesn't go over well with a majority of Americans. So he tries to finesse it. I think that's where he got bollocksed up. But, you know, it's the kind of thing that he needs to, well, right now, he's in a phase where the base needs to be fed. That's the way a lot of party leaders feel. They're not worried that much about outreach right now as they're worried about getting to the base and raising money and building up the internal strength. So it's that kind of a conflict he's got to deal with.
So a guy who doesn't believe this stuff is out there trying to sell this stuff to people who don't want to buy this stuff, which it seems to be a problem, especially if you marry it to this other part here, and marry is used unintentionally. They were in that, also in the GQ interview, this was another issue of choice. He was asked, do you think homosexuality is a choice? And he said, oh no, I don't think I've ever really subscribed to that view that you can turn it on and off like a water tap. You just can't simply say, oh, like tomorrow morning I'm going to stop being gay. It's like saying tomorrow morning I'm going to stop being black. I mean, it's a reasonable, accurate, contextual view, obviously, and it seems, is it destined to doom him within his own party at some point?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's when, Tony Perkins from the Family Research Council and other social conservatives in the base talked to him and complained about this. I mean, that was a strong position, Keith, just to equate homosexuality with race is the sort of position that the gay pride movement has been promoting for decades and that the Republican conservatives have been fighting against. He just kind of gave away the whole battlefield, you might say. So that's the kind of thing that he has to backpedal away from, or else try to change the party from inside. I doubt that's going to happen right now.
Yeah, or he might go to a place where there are many people who seem to agree with him on these two critical points of the cultural wars of our time. It's called the Democratic Party, but
you mean,
who knows?
I thought so. I've heard of them, yes.
They tend to mention this a lot. Clarence Page, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of the Tribune of Chicago. Great, thanks, Clarence.
Thank you, Keith. Stay tuned.